You won't need it to stay warm. You're so afraid of my affections. You could drown in your own storm. There's no need for reservation. No one else can see. After some examination, man, I think that you've got what I need. It's really alright. It's really alright. It's really alright if you don't love me. What's that look of consternation? I'm completely in control. So if you're thinking of evasion, there's something you should know. Well, I wouldn't say I own you, but you're a lover without liberty. Which would you rather face, that cold-hearted landscape or me? What's that look of consternation? I'm completely in control. So if you're thinking of evasion, there's something you should know. Well, I wouldn't say I own you, but you're a lover without liberty. Which would you rather face, a cold-hearted landscape or me? All right. We are back. I'm just letting in a little more light as our bright sky got a little gloomy. I guess we're expecting more rain. Okay, so it's been a while since I've been live here on YouTube. I've been live lots of days on Twitch, but we've been having like a little problem there with disconnection, or sometimes downright disconnection, sometimes just the stream just falls off, I guess. So hopefully that will not be a problem. Meg! Uh-oh. Hello, hello? What does it say? Oh, man. Okay, I'll turn up the gain, but I'm afraid that could be a problem. Let's see where we're at. Gain 1. All right. But let's see. hold on. I thought I had it way up there. Oh, mousy. All the way up. Let's make sure everything over here is yes, 100% everything. Okay, how is that? Is that any better? I have it all the way up now. It cannot go up any higher. And I can see it's not looking like it's doing very much. I have no explanation for this. I guess I can... okay. Let's see. I will bring this over here. Well, maybe not. Hold on. I don't know if I disconnect that now, it'll just disconnect it. No, not on the actual mic. They don't put them on the mics. I have a mixer right here in my hand, but you can't see it because it doesn't reach all the way. Okay, so I'm going to press this button and see if this changes anything. 1, 2, and a 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. I don't see any difference there. If anything, it seems worse. 1, 2. No, it's same as before. Pad 1, 2. How's that? That looks like that really launched it right there. How's that? That looks like it should be loud. I'm still behind the microphone, so it's not going to be full yet. So let me move this over. Oh, good. Yay. Okay. All right. Now when I'm here, I have to look at my phone. But my new phone is going to be here tomorrow. It's going to be locked into Xfinity for 2 years. But I'm getting it at half price. It's called free if you lock into a $5 a month program. Well, that's what it comes out to after my discounts. So for $5 more a month for 2 years, I will get a Galaxy A54, which I don't know, but it's supposed to be really nice. So it retails for about, between $450, somewhere in there. So for $399 was the lowest I saw it. But, as these things get older, they get cheaper. But it's brand new right now, and I'm going to try streaming. Oh, this phone is just, yes. This thing pisses me off at least once a day. At least once a day, I find myself going, "Arr!" But what got me to even think about it was the night before when I went out to dinner with my sister and my nephew. And Dee took out her phone, and I took a look at the back of it, and I saw the camera lenses, and my mind went doing, doing, doing. Cameras, really nice cameras. And of course, we'd already heard, that you don't have to buy a fancy camera anymore. My still camera is worthless compared to the kinds of cameras that are now being put in decent phones. So anyway, after 2 years of paying, it'll be basically buying that phone for half price, $150 or so. So I think it's worth it to have a couple of years of no frustration. And although I'm losing 3 gigabytes of data, the truth is that most of the time I don't use the data. I get 4G from the program I've been with for the last few years. I've only used it once. We used it up, and that was because I wasn't within anywhere, I guess, and no Wi-Fi at all. And I was doing a lot of sending of GIFs and photographs, and that was definitely taking up my data. So before I knew it, I was out. So Charlie said he'll help me, and we're going to try and stream on Twitch or here with the new phone instead of what I've just been doing, which was a real drag. Yep. So I couldn't afford to buy one, even at half price. I just could not afford. I really can't just afford a phone, period. So when it was like $5, now I knew it's a ripoff in general, but I already had to have a program, so it worked out okay. It's like, all right, you know what? This time I'm going for it. What are the hidden costs and all that I need to know up front? These are my conditions to signing the contract. Can you meet them? And it's yes, okay. I will slow-mo pay for a phone and have something to work with that won't make me crazy all the time. Yeah. Well, I'm not getting it for the kitchen shows. I will be able to use it for the kitchen shows. It was very dangerous setting up, in the setting up as well, because the cables have to go from the computer. That's really on a slippery desk, I mean, I don't want to be falling over anything and yanking my tower off the desk. So I've got a 25-foot cord to hook my camera up to. And the microphone, unfortunately, I don't have any extensions for that. It's only so long a cable, and I only was able to get it up to the hole in the wall, the living room to kitchen window. And I got it out there as close as I could, but I was still 5 feet away from it. So it's just not good. And meanwhile, I had these cables. And the one for the microphone was like this far off the ground. So it's like, well, I can't walk over this without risking knocking over everything. And I can't watch out for the snake on the floor. Excuse me. So it was one of those things, like I got to come up with something better. So I went ahead and I put a laptop, basic Lenovo, not a bad one. I think I don't know, somewhere between $300 and $400. Not to buy it. I put it in my wish list because I can also slow-mo the payments on that with Amazon if I need to. But when Charlie said I could use my new phone, it was, we're going to do that. We're going to do the phone thing and see. That might actually work out better, because a phone versus a laptop or my fixed camera, I'll be able to show what's going on in a boiling pot. Like this is what it should look like. And I think that'll be a lot more fun. So, yeah, the first one, it's not worth looking at, really. It's so hard for me to remember where the camera is, and also going back and forth in the kitchen and they get the distortion, so you're like right up close. And yeah. Thank you. I'm psyched. It seems like, because, I'm not going to try and be famous doing a cooking show, because I'm not that kind of cook. But I think it would be awesome to show a few people who are young and inexperienced and do not have the benefit of somebody teaching them some basic kitchen things that can get them through early adulthood before they've got time or really even inclination. Like Charlie's a good example because he's in his first year of college, just going into a second semester in his first year. So the last thing he wants to do right now is spend a bunch of time cooking, and I get that. But also, these are the years that all these kids they're going to school, they're packing their brains, but their brains are also still in the process of forming, and they need rest and nutrition. And excelling in college anymore is so much pressure that people they're neglecting themselves. And I mean, look, I hung out with my college friends at their colleges, and I watched how everybody lived, on campus, off campus. Oh, I couldn't hang out on campus except when I was going with them to classes. But everything else, like they shared a house, and it was off campus, so it was in a residential neighborhood. And I think that's kind of setup Charlie has. He's renting a room in a house that's basically all being rented out to college students. So I want him to be able to feel comfortable making some food for himself that is fast, because that's how he feels right now. He doesn't really want to spend a bunch of time cooking, but also something that'll sustain him, like keep those glucose levels more stable instead of the rise and fall of, crappy carbohydrates. Go with potatoes. Potatoes are way better. So how are you doing, and what's your schedule looking like? Where are you now? The storms have been horrendous. Have you been grounded? And if not, you must be having your hands full of people getting worried about your plane being anything like Alaska Airlines. Apparently, a lot of people love potatoes, and I'm seeing more variations on a theme. It's awesome. Like, I don't turn my oven on. I will use the air fryer, but my oven only goes on for cakes because it uses a massive amount of electricity. You don't realize it until you have that comparison bill. Here's when I did a bunch of cooking in my oven, and here's when I did a bunch of cooking in the air fryer instead. And it's like, holy shit. Like, air fryer is 50%, not even 50% of what the oven does. So there's the smashed potatoes? A smashed potato is basically a partially cooked potato, like partially boiled or nuked or whatever you want to do. Really just have to get the cooking started and put it into a frying pan with a bunch of butter and oil and seasoning, and you smash it. You smash it down as fast as you can to kind of make an instant potato pancake, but without having to shred it and mix it with anything to hold it together. And you just flip it back and forth until it's nice and crispy brown on both sides, and it's splayed out kind of like a flat flour. And the variation is to do that, but instead of the frying pan, to oil them up real well and put them on a greased, oiled pan, and put them in the oven and let them bake that way. Another good thing. I think it mostly depends on, are you cooking for yourself or company? What has to be done? It's expedient. And when I'm cooking for company, which hasn't happened since I moved here, thank God, except for Rich, but that's just one person. You have to budget you need to do so many things at one time, like on Thanksgiving. You got the turkey, you got the stuff for the gravy and giblets, and I don't know. And you got your stove is going, the air fryer is going, the oven's going, everything is going with different things. So you just have to balance it. Oh my God. Oh, yay. Oh, I'm so glad. All of that is delicious. I'm so happy for you. I am just loving the shit out of people reporting things like that right now. It's like, yeah, I gave in to the urge to create, and guess what? I'm more prolific than I thought I could be. I've got ideas. They're good ideas. I too have been devoting mental time, not actual typing time yet, to Numeris 3. And I've got the take that I need. So I'm just now deciding how I want to start the writing, what program I'm going to use, and how I want to handle that. I'm thinking, because I don't want to stop painting either. I love to write in bed. I've never considered doing a book in bed, but I could write and then just email it to myself to put onto a Google Doc. So we'll see what happens. I might get it done faster. But that's really funny you're going to Amsterdam, because my friend's father, 83-year-old father, his 78-year-old girlfriend has him globetrotting. They're going to Norway. It's like they're revisiting all of the things that he did with his wife, his first wife, and now he's with his girlfriend who's got like some of the same hobbies that his wife had, and like she's trying to make all the correlations between her and coming into his life like it's meant to be. You know what I mean? And frankly, the man was just happy to have someone interested in, you know, tickling his pickle. Crude, but real. So she's got him going off to Norway and Amsterdam. Oh, really? Okay. How long is the free trial? I'm using, on my Kindle, I'm using Writer Plus, or Write Plus. It's a big gray circle with a big white W in it, and a little plus. It's free, and it does everything basic that I need done. I wouldn't do any editing with it. It's just basically to get the ideas down, and then I can transfer that to something like Google Docs where I can do my editing. 30-day. Oh, really? Well, that's an advantage. How much they want for it, though? Is it like a monthly subscription, or can you actually buy it? When I start writing for real, you know, putting everything into Google Docs, I'm going to be using Grammarly. That's really, it's been very helpful just catching little things when I'm doing online stuff, but I only use the free version. $60 lifetime? Oh, that's worth it. That's reasonable. That's reasonable. I'm going to write that down. Oh, no, I can't do it on that piece of paper. Hold on. I'm starting to spell it with a K. Like I don't know what that is. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to buy it this month anyway, but this month was basically the little extra fees to get the new phone going and start up service. Because I've been only using Xfinity's modem behind me. Oh. Okay. Oh, is that? I didn't know. I've never written a book on Google Docs. I was lucky and I was able to use my last version of Word to do the second book, just like I did with the first book. So it was a more modern version of Word, but I was already used to everything. But now, I'm not paying a license to use that stupid program. It's just word processing. Oh, don't even think about that. Don't worry about that. I appreciate the thought, though. I'll give it a shot, though. I wonder if I can use that on Kindle. I mean, I'm used to sitting at the computer and doing my writing, but it'd be nice to be able to use the different areas of my day. Yeah. Oh, okay, maybe that's why I hadn't noticed anything. See, I've been putting my songs up there, and those are single pages or 2 pages or letters that are just a few pages. I don't want it being laggy. I need to move through a document, at will. I would have thought that was my processor, to tell you the truth. I never would have guessed it was the program. I'll give Scrivener a try. Hopefully I can use it on Kindle, because then it would definitely be awesome. I'm pretty fast now with swiping, and I've gotten myself conditioned, because that's 6 months I spent in bed down in York, of writing in bed and just everything flowing. So, oh yeah, that wouldn't work. Yeah. No, because I can write it chapter by chapter, which makes it easier for editing. But when it's time to create the PDF that becomes the basis for a Kindle version, I have to put all that in one document, obviously. And yeah, it's real important that things are easy to organize, definitely, because when you're doing your table of contents, you can just count chapters. You need to have the chapter and the page. And by the way, those don't match up in Kindle. When you're doing a print version and a digital version, you have to have 2 different versions, because they don't both transfer the same. Oh, good. Okay. Well, eventually I might end up investing in a little laptop. I've had good luck with Asus and Lenovo. I've liked both of them better than I've liked. I did have a HP Pavilion once. That was an amazing computer. I loved that computer. But way too early in its life, I felt, the screen died. There's no communication between the keyboard and the screen, just went blank. And it was still quite alive elsewhere. So I did not get rid of it. I still have it somewhere stashed because of the hard drive. But I can't open the back of that sucker. But after that, I went through a couple of Asus and a Lenovo, or 2 Lenovo and an Asus. No, I think it was 2 Asus, and maybe 2 Lenovo. I also purchased stuff for Glenn, so sometimes I get confused because I took care of all the computers in the house. But I liked Lenovo and I liked Asus, so. If I have to eventually do that, I will probably want to wait until after this show. Get this under my belt, because getting ready to do it is taking a lot of mental energy, and I've got to be able to create a flyer / invitation, kind of a mailer. And a flyer, I'm not going to be putting up very many flyers. So, I can probably print them here on my own home printer. Although, you can do so much with Vistaprint these days. Also, I just take it to Staples, have them use their ink instead of me using mine. Well, you know what? I'll go get my Kindle in a minute and just look it up and see if it's accessible. Maybe yes, maybe no. Kindle has its own little world. It's been better, I'd say, overall in the last year. Nevertheless, it doesn't do everything. It's an Android platform, which I prefer. After making the lips red and realizing I had to change all the color here, I had to bring it to what to me looks like a natural conclusion. And wow, those clouds are impressive. Hello there. Here, just wait for me. All right, let's let that dry a little bit before I come in and fill that in. Okay, I'll be back in just a minute. Here, I'll take you with me. Oh, a 30-day trial is definitely worth it. I mean, it's a free trial. And the only way I've ever written books is so far, all 2 of them. Actually, I've done more than that. I just never finished a couple of them because they sucked. Romance novels. Trying to do it for the money. I can't think that way. But yeah, it's not available on Kindle, but people have been going on there looking for Scrivener for Kindle. The search is quite alive. So you never know. But if they're doing fine just the way they're doing it, then they probably won't want to go through Amazon. They don't have a need for that. Although distribution would skyrocket. Apple charges $23 just to try it. Oh, I see. Yeah, okay. I get it. Apple. They'll find a way to sell it to you, but not completely sell it to you, right? You can use this many of the features for $23. Bargain. Okay, I'm going to plug that in and get it going. This is what I'm doing. Oh, I see. Well, do you use iPad or iLaptop? Uh, yeah, that is. Well, eventually I will probably end up with a laptop because I need to be mobile. Also, I get inspired when I go out, and you can only do so much on your phone. Although I am getting a phone that's supposed to surprise me. Oh. Yeah, I got so into it on my Kindle, just swiping, and it automatically corrected some of my words, which was convenient. Still nothing substitutes for actual editing because, the substitutions are not always right. I missed a couple things in like 2 or 3 times in my first book, which is why the last copy of it ended up being published the way it was. It's like, I'm missing a sheet. I don't even have a cover sheet. Shit. This was terrible, a rush. So I'll be redoing the first book just to put extra paper in there where it belongs. Put the copyright up front instead of out back. It was a mess the last time. Trying to get things done for it. Oh yeah. Yeah, see, I can't type on screen. And then if you end up with a split screen, oh, that drives me nuts. I cannot use that split screen because I don't type. I don't play games like this, I'm not used to. It's a completely foreign thing for me. Even though I like using both hands in art stuff, I can't do it to play a game. I don't know why, but typing, I'm used to, years and years of that. But on the Kindle, that writer is just like, it's just an easy program for me. So, also, maybe because I've worked with it for more than a year, it's learned from me. So, like, it's not a fancy program. It's very simple. That's what I like about it. If I want to accentuate things, you have to do it with an asterisk, to make it italic. So I don't like seeing extra markup stuff in there, but it's not the worst thing. It's just reminding me that when I go and put it into a program where I'm going to do the real editing, that pay attention to that. That's supposed to be italicized or what have you. I saw that. I think there's actually a way with this new Kindle, the latest version, that I might be able to actually use the keyboard I have, but I don't remember how that's supposed to work. I like the Kindle Pad because it is, well, number one, it's got SimCity on it, and that's my most important game on there. But yeah, it's just easy. It's just been easy for me. It's got all my connections that are easy for me. So that's why I've stayed with it instead of changing, which I was going to do last time instead of getting the better one that they came out with this time. It's like, well, if I do it this way, they're going to let me break the payment down because it's their product. And if I go to, I forget what it was, a satellite or something, it wasn't going to break it down for me. It was, well, that's somebody else's product. You're going to have to pay full price unless you qualify for the credit card, which they keep offering me because I don't overspend, I guess. I don't know what the hell it is, but I keep getting offers and I keep having to say, why are you bothering? I did apply once, but I don't make enough money for you to give me a credit card. I don't want credit. Leave me alone. Credit is dangerous. You don't ever really know how much money you've got if you have credit cards. What's real money? What's debt? How much are you losing by paying interest on something where you gathered debt that wasn't really necessary? That's that I've looked at things from different angles, which is why normally I would never have considered taking a free phone. As soon as they say the word free, you know that there's a catch. It's not free. You're going to pay for it one way or another. But when I did the math, it was like, well, I'm paying half price. That's not so bad. 150 instead of $400. Take my time paying, really, just $5 a month. I can do 5 a month. Can't do 25 a month or 20 a month, but that I can do. So I patted myself on the back, one of those sides, and agreed to sign on the dotted line, and tomorrow is the big day. Eventually, I'll get the laptop, or a laptop. The nicest thing about my last laptop was it had a nice big screen. So when Rich visited and we were watching movies on the laptop, it wasn't so bad. I mean, it wasn't as big as a TV or anything, but it wasn't something we had to strain our eyes. We could see lots of good detail, you know, good screen and all. And given how much time I spend in front of a TV, it worked for me. So when it died, I was kind of bummed. But then my stepfather bought me this computer. I had a choice. I was going to buy a laptop. I was going to bum the money from him. And he said, well, wouldn't it be better to just get a desktop? I said, I really can't afford that either. But he was willing to pay extra for me to get the the desktop, because he felt it would be a better choice since I didn't have one. I'm glad. I like it. And I have been able to do things like it's got more power and ports, you know, than the laptop could handle. Yeah, that was the general consensus, so I said thank you very, very, very much. And he made it a gift instead of a loan, which I was impressed by right then and there. I would not share that with my sisters. He does not treat us the same. Well, I definitely got a bigger screen, although it has one little thing that I hate about it, and that is the plug keeps falling out. It's just not a really good connection. So I have to turn the screen when I'm broadcasting, I'm over on this side, screen faces me, but if I'm having dinner or watching TV or, YouTube, it's got to go the other way. And when I'm typing, it goes the other way. Because right now I'm like 5 feet away from my screen. But the screen is big. It's the biggest monitor I've ever had. It's actually, I think, like the size of my first little, what were those TVs they made to go with Amazon, or one of those digital kinds of things. So just a thin one, just like the monitor, but on a little stand. 24 inches, maybe? In any case, much bigger than my computer. And now this one is awesome. Gorgeous color, amazing resolution, loose plug. Now we're going to end up painting over the excess white here, but not yet. We're just getting our shape, and that's almost dry enough to work. Yeah, it doesn't go in very far. I think that's the big problem. It just barely connects. And then, not every day, but if I turn it around and it starts to come unplugged, the picture's gone. I gotta manipulate it to go back in. Probably because I turn it every day. It's not on a turntable. It's just, I lift it a little bit and turn it so it's not pulling or torquing anything. But it does have the cable is heavy and the cable keeps moving. So that might be putting too much tension on that little part. I even put some of that gel tape down, try and hold it in one position so it can't yank out. I would think that most people don't move their monitor very much. So that's probably not a common problem. I mean, it's the first monitor I've ever had to do that with, so I think most people just do what we do on a desktop, is install it and leave it. It's an Acer. I've had Acer monitors before. No problem. Matter of fact, I don't remember how, but I was gifted 2 beautiful Acer monitors, brand new. And I don't remember the reason I gave them to my nephews. It just happened that I got them gifted at the exact same time. One of them had a messed up screen, was having a problem. And I was like, oh, well, look what I've got. Yeah. Yeah, mine gets moved every day. So I'm sure that the fault is mine. I try not to torque this spot, but I think it's inevitable. It's just gonna... The cable, you know, is heavy. Yeah, it's the heaviest one on the desk. It's heavier than the keyboard cable. Okay, let me put this aside. I need this to harden up again. Oh, it's getting dark in here. It's a little light. Okay, a decision must be made. I have to choose a color for the eyelid. Because I have to paint it with something to protect it from moisture before I do this next eye, because it will get hit with some water. It's got to be able to just bead off and be picked up. So what the hell color am I going to use? Now, mind you, this is going to be just white mica in here, so it's very reflective like a silver. In fact, it's going to look quite a bit like what I originally saw this in, blue with silver grout. But it's going to be white mica. And this one I'm going to mix white mica with this violet paint to make a lavender mica. But I haven't done the experiments yet. And I don't have to worry about that yet until I have done the eyelid. But what color? What color? All right, it is, the focal color is purple or violet, straight up. Yeah, violet. So we're looking at, when you know it, the green definitely does not work. But, oh my God, what color crayon is that? We know. So we need to make that, huh? Like an apricot? See, I don't want it to... This is really hard. I don't want it to look like this is a white person stuck to the canvas, you know what I mean? Because this is about spirit. Spirit has no color. Or actually, spirit is a rainbow. It's every color, including all the ones we can't see with human eyes. But I can't put rainbows. You know, it wouldn't make any sense to people. And if you wanted to be the eyes of God, it'd be the same thing. Rainbows. If I had room for a second monitor, that would be awesome. I could just have them back to back and never have to turn anything. That color does match. It does. Crap. I've got this pink here, which is basically magenta. We got a little bit goldened out there, but I guess it's gonna look like a white person-ish. All right, it's gonna have to be magenta and obviously magenta and white make pink. I don't want to make a pink eye though. What do you think? Should I bring the unmanifest, the colors from the unmanifest, into the eyes of spirit? If I made it more of that apricot color, that would help with the yellow down here. So it would have to be kind of like that. All right. My crows are back. Hello, darlings. Windy out there, windy as hail. They're just gathering. All right. Let's see if I can mix it up. We need a little white and a little magenta. Where are you, magenta? There you are. And I don't know if it's going to work, but we'll try it on the palette. Where are you, Naples yellow? There we go. Okay. All right. Let's see if I can do this without making a huge mess. Maybe. Hey, shh. I'm not sure if that yellow will work or if I'm going to need a different yellow. So we're going to get another yellow. This time I'm going to get the ink. All right, we just need to mix it up a little. Oh, geez. You were saying? I would say I nailed fleshy. What do they call it now? Oh, we got the yellow mixing up there nicely. Let's go ahead and try a little of that in there. Oh my goodness, orange. Brilliant orange. Wrong orange. Mustardy, no, too far off this magenta. Now all this really is a bunch of white and yellow oxide until you add magenta. What do you think of that? Is it too far off? Oh, that's not helping. It's just looking fleshier. It is rosier. But if I was told, come up with a flesh color, of course I'd go, and what color is that? But I always go back to Crayola crayons and their faux pas. All right, how about I put a thin coat on. If I don't like it, I'll have to come up with another color and paint over it. I could add more white, maybe? All right. Let's you see that? Duh. Okay, I'm getting sloppy. Too much spinning in circles. All right, we'll give it a shot. And yeah, I can always go over it. But I can't move on until it's coated with some paint. Yeah, that does look too, obviously. It's a white person. I will have to make it darker so that the silver tears show up better, which you don't see here because it's still in my brain. But yeah, that's the plan. Oh, no, you don't. Oh, please, not another ambulance. You would think we lost power and everybody froze to death. Oh, yeah. All right. Since I put it on clay, it's going to take a few minutes extra to dry because it's going to soak it up and then it has no place to go. Dry, we'll have to do 2 coats. Yep, not enough magenta. That's even worse. All right. Tomorrow we will have better light. So I think I'll forego the paint mixing. We did get this coated though, which is real important. But I've got to get a little more in there. Playing with shadows here. So when you're done writing this project, will you let me read it? I mean, you don't have to. I don't want to put you on the spot, but I would love to support you in your writing. Ugh, hot flash time. All right. If I do red, it's just going to look like a punched eye, like an unwell eye. A white person who has been on a binge for a long time. Blue. We're going to have the purple on this side. Ugh. I didn't think that would be an issue, but it does just look. And another reason I don't want it to look like flesh of any color is because it would take away from the idea that this is not supposed to be like a real eye, a human eye. Multiple colors, like navy blue on the inside of the lid. All right. Awesome. This is going to be great. You're writing. Well, I have to say, I like the Kindle platform because they make it easier for you to get your stuff out there, but they don't advertise you. So that's the difference between a traditional publisher and self-publishing. I'm all for self-publishing, but you have to really push your own work. Yeah, I think I'm gonna end up doing something wild. It can't be like a human eye. And right now it definitely has that. In color like that, it looks like I'm trying to emulate a human eye. We don't want that. what if, like this blue, it came down alongside the purple, which will be getting refreshed after everything's in place. So if we've got the purple, the blue, then what way do we do with that? We'll have to do this tomorrow. I need much better light. The single fluorescent overhead, even though these are glare-free glasses, the light's bouncing around too much now. It's too dark outside. It doesn't look like that behind me, but yeah. A lot of dark clouds out there. But there is something I can do. I can make more swirls. I need to, so I'll turn this sucker on and we'll heat it up. We'll do what we can. If we can't finish this at the moment, you should believe in your idea. Why go forward if you don't, right? So good. But nowadays, if you want to go with a traditional publisher, you have to go with a traditional agent. Nobody is reading work anymore unless it comes through an agent. So yeah, that's what I was doing with the first book, and I ended up going with a different publisher who was fine with not having an agent, but they ripped me off all too, so not wise on my part. But that was also at the same time, as soon as I got my project done and it was time to take the next step, which included promotion and all that stuff, that's when my ex conveniently had a nervous breakdown and he needed my constant attention. So a lot less got done than could have been done. All right, let me get this out of the way. Let's get that back over here. Oh, I guess I better plug it in. It only stretches so far, so as long as I'm going back and forth between desks, I can't have this plugged in. It's too high up in the air. All right, now we're cooking. I'll be back in just a minute. Okay, just a minute. chilling on down. Had to turn the heater back on. That's okay. I found it was really good practice writing letters, the cover letters to not publishers, but to see if I could get an agent. That was a lot of work. But I think what inspired me, I had 2 books for writing, and one of them was Ray Bradbury. I think it was The Zen of Writing. Let's see, I don't remember what made it through. Now, you don't have to buy these books because since I bought them, these people have gone on and done their own thing, and you can find their shit for free all over the internet. So, The Renegade Writer, a totally unconventional guide to freelance writing success, written by 2 women. Secrets of Successful Writing. This actually came with a program called Grammatic. It was the first checking your writing program for the first publicly available under $2,000 IBM compatible computers. So notice how little is in this. It's got some basic stuff like avoiding cliches and this and that and the other, but it's got some good tips. But it's really meant to just go with that program, but it was so good I kept it. Even though the other thing is long gone. Zen in the Art of Writing. I love that. What's the cover say? Here's these words used. How rarely do we see people living? Only warn him to look to his zest, see to his gusto. Ray Bradbury is one of my favorite writers. Bunch of essays, refreshingly direct. That's a good way to put it. This, an agent recommended. The agent was Donald Moss. Donald Moss wrote this book for people like me. And probably you. Now his this is so that you can write a really good letter to get a whatchamacallit, agent. Crossover novels, pushing the envelope. This is great. He took on a science fiction writer for his first book. It was amazing. It has stuck with me all these years, that one book. And that's the kind of writer he was looking for. See, my stuff is soft. Mine is soft. Well, it is what is science is scientifically accurate. What is fantasy, of course, is fantasy. There are no actual wizards, and there is no actual magic in wizardly terms, you know. But for my book, of course, there is. So he was looking for hardcore sci-fi, and the book he chose around the same time, just before me applying to get him to represent me. It was called Down and Out in the Magic Kingdom. It was freaky. It's really freaky and prescient, how do you say it? It was a really good book. If you like science fiction, Down and Out in the Magic Kingdom is as hardcore sci-fi as you can get. But this guy is awesome as an agent and a writer, and yeah, he likes to find someone really talented and then guide them. You see, that's what the really big guys do. A successful New York literary agent, Donald Mass, has guided many fiction writers from first book to full-time career. So basically, this is for people who are launching or jump-starting their writing careers. The career novelist. A literary agent offers strategies for success. So you might be able to find what you need without having to purchase his books or his book, but God only knows what he has by now. If more, I don't know. What I originally started with was nothing I've got here, but like I got hired to ghostwrite a screenplay, and I never wrote a screenplay in my life. So the first thing I did was buy like 2 or 3 books on screenwriting, and he paid for the software I needed to format a screenplay properly. That was not cheap. That was $600 to get a professional level. Yeah. And that was another one that had those little sneaky update things to make sure that you could not pirate it. Actually, the only reason I even showed that to you, it's not to look at while you're writing. It's to look at when you have finished a project and want to seek representation or how to get it out there. I would not read any of that while you're writing. You are inspired right now, and I would fly on that because you're not an idiot. You can trust yourself. Yes, there may be places where you feel like you're dead ending and you're going to have to backtrack and edit, and sometimes the repercussions run right through a whole novel, and you've got to back up and find all those little incidences to erase or change a path. But all of that stuff is what you'll do in the edit. Right now you're in the inspiration stage, and the last thing you need is anybody telling you what to read and what to do, other than go for it. Do what comes natural. It feels good, do it. If it stops feeling good, take a break. And don't even worry about when you get back to it, because when you feel it, you will go. You don't even have to worry about planning anything other than planning time to sit down with it. Yeah, $600. So, and it's not even usable now. So, gone. Bye-bye, birdie. But this is something I believe is out of print by Lynn Carter, who was a science fiction writer. Imaginary Worlds. This was a gift to me. It's in plastic because it's old and mildewed and dangerous to read without a mask, gloves, and knowing what I want to get out of it because it's falling apart. The reason I keep it is a reminder. When I wrote Numaris, I had in mind right from the start that there would be no wars. There's no reason for wars on Numaris because the people, the beings, everybody has learned to get along because they like survival better than fighting. They're more the party animals than beasts of war. But according to Imaginary Worlds, you are supposed to have a military of some kind and also a deity. There's supposed to be something to worship. I guess kind of the way World of Warcraft is set up, you know. You can be working for the good guy or the bad guy, but you're going to work for somebody. And I decided to change the paradigm. I didn't like the paradigm. I understand so much, and this was very valuable in gleaning other information, other things to pay attention to that I might have overlooked, you know, looking back, because, you know, when you're inspired, you write, but then you've got to go back and stretch, you know. Yeah. That's all you should be doing, you know. I already had the basis of Numaris done by the time I was gifted this book. I mean, the first draft was done. I knew all my characters. I knew where they were starting, where they were heading, where they were going to end up. So the only thing that was missing was developing the characters more, dialogue, things like that, which came actually years later. But this book was recommending things that I was adamantly against. I grew up with a religious background. I'm not anti-God or anti-source, because you can't be, because that's where we're from. So I have no antis that way, but I am no friend of religion. I am more like Abraham breaking down the fake idols. I can't support a religion. I understand people being involved in them, and I'm not condemning them. I'm just saying, no, we're not going to have that. There will not be that kind of reason for people to either protect land, like landmarks, like the fighting going on in Israel all the time, or anything else. There's not going to be, because if you have one religion, you know it's going to split at some point, because that's how people are. And once they start splitting, they get opinions, and the other one becomes wrong. And I was not going to have that kind of petty crap become an element of my societies on Numaris. So I got two messages at once. All right. So let's see. 10 East Pacific, 10, 11, 12, 1 o'clock my time. Okay, I have a Skype at 1 o'clock tomorrow. Sizzle Pants. Sizzle gave me the stand mixer. It's all together on my counter now, but I haven't arranged everything yet. But we're going to work with that. The next stream for the kitchen is going to be making egg white meringue. So it's so cool that the little like 4-page instruction manual that comes with it has a few recipes, and one of them is for making a meringue, which reminds me, I have to find out what castor sugar is. What the hell is castor sugar? I've heard of it. I just don't. I hope I can use regular sugar. Icing sugar is basically confectioner's sugar, right? That's what I make my icings out of. The only thing I've ever used in making meringue, vanilla, sugar, just regular table sugar. Well, problem with that is if it's not mixed well enough, it doesn't melt, and that's a problem. Anyway, yeah, I think that it's really important that you be true to yourself when you're writing. It should be your stream of consciousness. You work out. There are things that you'll work out when you read it. You'll go, oh, well, there should be a climax here, or semi-climax. There should be, we're leading up to something. And then you train yourself to be a better writer. My first draft was 88 pages long, and the finished first draft was 350 pages. Obviously, a lot happened between 88 and 350 pages. Now, I don't run out of imagination, or at least I never have so far. And I do love, love, love writing and storytelling. You would think I would do it all the time. But since starting to stream, I became more verbal, which I wasn't. I did my shows and sang and, you talk to the audience. But I got paid to do that. And you don't have to talk very long because you're there to sing. Also, a lot of the time I wasn't by myself. I had partners I worked with. So, some of the slack is taken up by others if I don't talk. But now, there is no other talking. Maybe I should build something for Toblerina with this stuff. A clear dress. Risque. Poor Toblerina's had to take a back shoe. I felt a little sad taking her calendar down, knowing that I did not make another calendar for 2024. But I just can't do everything I want to do. And although I love Toblerina and feel like that is a viable business, and funny, because it is funny, and cute, and silly, and whimsical. It's good things, I think. Still, I want to be in that gallery more than I want to work on Toblerina. So she's still here in the drag costume. I started to build her, and she's just going to have to wait a little longer. You stupid little fly. I don't know who let you hatch, but ain't nothing to cook, nothing to eat here. I have to sign in over there. Go away. How many browsers do I need to have open? I can do that through here. Ah. Now, I never thought there would be 3 Nomaris books. I didn't even actually plan for there to be 2 of them. The second book wasn't supposed to be about Nomaris, but I did want to use the planet. It all worked out. Well, that came out cute. Okay. Don't be getting stuck to nothing there. Behave yourself. Oh. Are you not cool enough yet? Goodness. Now, before I read that book on creating worlds, I had already created a mythology. I did have the Oracle, and I do have the Oracle, but nobody worshipped the Oracle. And that's a big difference, where they were able to access this clearly unusual kind of apparatus, or they really weren't sure. They just called it She Within. They called it She Within for so long they couldn't remember why. Yeah, I'm excited about this 3rd book. It's going to be the last of the Nomaris books by me, anyway. I think. You never know. But at the moment I'm saying it's the 3rd and last. It's going to be a final kind of a compilation of my personal teachings, which are not original. You've heard them. And you've certainly heard them from me for years now. But using a book or a story to tell how things are working in a way that you can see it play out, I think that will be better for people to grasp certain concepts I've been trying to get across. So I'm excited. I was having problems, and it always starts this way for me. I've got the story, I've got the idea, I've got the characters, I've got a whole bunch of stuff already set up. I know where I'm going, so I've got all my guideposts, but I don't fill in every detail, because to be organically created, I've got to be in the moment when everything just pours through, and that's how I love to do the writing. It's like, it's writing me, you know, it's controlling me, letting it flow through me. I love that feeling. And I know you know the feeling now too. But I always have like, all right, you've got to know your starting point. The hardest part was the starting point for the third book. Because there's always more than one real thing going on, especially with my books. One big project to deal with, or event. Hey, you. Yeah, go down a little bit. Too wishy-washy. That's it. It looks so beautiful, clear, while it's melted. As soon as it hardens, you get the clouds setting up. Can you see these before I put them in the pile? The little solar flares are sunspots. Well, actually, solar flare is the nickname for the Sundiety too, but the third one is going to have the after effects of these solar flares and solar storms and all that. When they do the ejections of plasma that hit our atmosphere bubble. It's a good thing we have that. Okay. Who knew this would be an art material? Holding stupid little things together to, oh yeah, you can do this with it too. That looks silly. Well, I'm hoping it'll look really cool once they're on the canvas. I'm glad they're lightweight. It's like nothing. Of course, once they're all on there, it's going to weigh a little more. Okay, other old movie. Have you ever seen Harvey with Jimmy Stewart? That's one I would recommend. To watch it with the eye of a writer, which, of course, once you're into writing, you can't help that. I look at everything now like, how would that have been written? But we haven't seen Maui in a few days. He was talking about signing up for a class, possibly. And that'd be rad. Rad. Do they still say that? I think that's one of those dating yourself kinds of words, rad. Rad. All right. Did you see that? I don't believe I did that. That was brilliant. I just put my fingers down right on top of the hot glue. Luckily, it was already cooled off enough not to cause me any damage, but I have to tell you, it was one of those, you didn't just do that, did you? Yes, you did. Silly, silly girl. Good thing it needed a second layer anyway. Oh, sure. String all over the place. Oops, go that direction. Interesting sunspots. Yep, time to get some more. Uh-oh. Ah. Phew. Now's not the time to run out of this stuff, right? That's a big one. Well, I started my exercise challenge today. I'll see how well I do tomorrow. It was a little disappointing, but I did it. Disappointing in that I wore out way before I wanted to. But the upside is that now there's lots of room for improvement. And if I just stick with it every day, eventually I will see that. That is a big one. It might be a little bit too big. We won't know until I start putting things on the canvas, arranging them on the canvas and deciding what is going to go where and how many. This stuff is so bizarre. I like that one. Okay, I think we're going to call it a day. My hand has had enough squeezing of that trigger. Time for me to get up, walk around, think about what I might want for dinner besides cucumber salad, which is irresistible. Okay, Meg, thank you so much for hanging out with me, my dear. I'm really happy for you. Whoa, whoa, whoa. You need to be bigger. I'll be back tomorrow, but I'm not sure what time because I'm having a Skype, an art circle with my friend M out in California. So if I can get here early in the morning, I'll be here until lunchtime. If not, well, I guess I'll see you late in the day. I'll be back one way or another because we are working on those 2 paintings. We're going to get them done soon. I like how they're coming out. Now we will have to come up with another color scheme for the eyes, because right now that's just terrible. Although I think before I do the painting, I'll make the other eye. We'll do the other one now that it's waterproofed with paint. That's really the most important part of that. Yeah. Maybe I'll end up with light blue. The same blue, but shaded from the dark midnight to lighter color. That might work. That way it's clearly not a human kind of a concept. But, you know, the wrinkles are supposed to denote agedness, you know, ancientness. We'll see. I'll be back as soon as I can be, because I love being here with you. So happy writing, happy trails, and